did I talk to you guys about the horizon at any point? I thought now would be a good time just to remind you that, like, if you look out that window there, you can see the horizon. But did you know that the horizon doesn't exist? It's actually just a construct in your mind. And every step you move closer towards the horizon moves one step further away. And it's the same with ideals. Ideals are brilliant for setting direction. I can say, you know what, I want to go over there. It's great for setting direction. But it's no use for measuring progress, because ideals always because ideals are a mental construct. They always stay, the same distance away. But the good thing is that your accomplishments keep pace with you. And so the reason for mentioning that again is because while ideals are great for setting direction, they're useless for measuring progress. Because when you check your ideals, they're still out there. Even when you achieve what you set out to achieve, when you look to your ideals, the ideals are still the same distance away. So for measuring progress, you need to look back to where you've come from. And I was thinking, as I look back to the beginning of this program, and look back to where we were as a group, our various levels of skill, where we were in our lives and all that sort of thing, a lot has changed. A lot has happened. You've learned a variety of things. You came in with certain ideas about what it's like to do NLP and what certain skills were. And some of those ideas have been, just a fraction of what's possible. Others of them have been completely idealistic. I remember I was on a training once with Richard Bandler where he was doing requests, and he goes to me, "So what do you want?" And I'm like, I want to be able to see and hear. I want to have complete sensory awareness so I can track everything that's going on in my training room. He said, "No, you don't." And I said, "Yes, I do." He goes, "No, you don't." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." He goes, "So if a guy over there farts, you want to be able to smell it?" I'm like, "No." So I had ideals about not only what was possible, but what was actually useful, important, necessary. And part of the process of going through this journey is one of kind of separating the wheat from the chaff to some extent, and figuring out what's actually important, what's actually useful, what actually works for you, and how you can integrate it in a way that's useful for you in your own life, and continue that process of integration and development and exploration. Sure, in your own life, because, while the tools, techniques, ideas, perceptions, concepts of NLP have great value and a track record and have been used in a variety of contexts, it's a matter of personalizing them. And, I was reading the book Frogs into Princes, and there's a quote in there where Bandler or Grinder says, when I first got involved in the human potential movement, people said, what's important here is making contact with the human being on a person-to-person level. He said, which I thought was kind of obvious. But the interesting thing is, sometimes that's not so obvious. It's about making contact with a human being. Sometimes, making contact with a human being and then dragging them kicking and screaming through what isn't working to the other side where, they can experience more fully who they are. See, when I first started doing this stuff, people said to me, you're capable of far, far more than you think you are. And I was kind of like, well, I'm not so sure about that. Maybe 10% more. But now I realize, and it was actually pretty soon that I started to realize how much more you're actually capable of.